Hey folks, Jeff Eubanks, Eubanks Family Homestead, or Hobby Homestead and the Way of Life. Well, here we are. Some people have a honey house. We got a honey apartment. Our basement apartment has been overtaken for honey harvesting this year. We are planning on doing that next weekend. We're going to have some stuff going on Saturday and Sunday, weather permitting. I'm hoping that the weather will cooperate. We don't try to overload ourselves and plan too much for any one day, so we're going to try to pull frames Saturday, and then Sunday afternoon after church, get down here and harvest some honey. And so we're going to do a little video of the things you need to harvest honey, or at least things we need. We're kind of small scale, so we do okay with what we got. This is our extractor. It's an 18 frame. It's an 18 medium frame extractor. You can run deeps in it as well, but the medium frames it'll hold 18. I think deeps it'll only hold like 9, maybe. I'm not sure. But this was purchased through our friends at Barnyard Bees. Jimmy. We was able to get it through them, but of course I left it on the pallet that it shipped on, because extractors, if they're not perfectly balanced, they will shake on you. And I found out that, if you can stand on this and put somebody over there, when you're spinning it. And one day I'm going to make enough money where I can get me an electric motor to put on it. But yeah, that's how it happens. And you must be very careful leaning on your extractor, because you can break the plastic. I did that. Not my wife, not anybody else. It was me.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't do that.
But I'm going to fix that. I'm going to weld that up. So anyway, yeah, there's our 18 frame Mann Lake extractor. Here are some of the tools that you will need if you do start doing your own extracting, which if you're a beekeeper, you need to. This, I don't know. I've tried it 2 years, and see what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to puncture the cells and make it easy for extraction, but I've never had much luck with it. But it's cool looking.
And puncture the cells on what?
On the frames. I don't have a frame to give a visual aid, but you roll this on the capped cell. Ooh, that feels good. You roll this on the capped cells. Oh yeah. You roll this on the capped cells of the honey frames. It punctures them, and so then when you put it in the extruder, not the extruder, the extractor, and you sling it, the honey comes out. It just doesn't work too well. This is a heated decapping knife, which it works okay. I've had limited success with it, but if your frames have wax drawn way out past the edge of the frame, it works real good. But you just go down through there, it plugs up, it gets hot to the touch, and you just take that thing and if you get it just right on the right angle, it'll just peel it off. This butter knife, I'm not butter knife, bread knife. Same thing. You go down there and saw it. So if you don't have access to a heated knife, I would not suggest you waste your money on this. Go to Walmart. Get you a bread knife. The blades are kind of springy. They'll kind of bend with you and, let you sort of saw the cappings off. Now, when we're actually doing this, you'll understand then. So if you haven't, extracted your honey by next weekend, we'll have some tips for you. So this is stuff you'll need to actually prepare the frames for the extraction. So once you get it extracted, you have a honey gate right here, which must remain shut while you're extracting. And that lets the honey build up in here. But now you don't want your honey to build up so deep that it hits on the carousel frame, because you'll start whipping your honey and get all kinds of air bubbles in it. What you need is these things right here. Now you can go to any bee supply and buy these these filters that will fit down in the top of your buckets. And they have micron filters. Micron is the size of the hole which allows the honey to flow through. These are paint filters that you can buy at the Home Depot. And guess what? They work just as well. Put in there just like that. You can take a little bungee cord and wrap around it. Then when you start extracting, just open that bad boy up. It'll pour off in there. You got to control it though, because especially once you start picking up some, I guess y'all heard my phone ring. That's one of our, what would you call her, apprentices? She has, she let us put a swarm trap at her house, and she called Swarm. It's Diana. Y'all seen her. Anyway, I had to talk to her on the phone for a minute about next weekend. Yeah.
Decay Homestead.
Yes, Decay Homestead. Yes.
The bees from the K Homestead.
The bees from the K Homestead. So the swarm, yes. So anyway, we'll get back to this. But anyway, when you get your filter, this is, like I said, this is a paint filter you can get at Home Depot. It's nylon, I guess you call it, but it's got a micron rating. But you just don't want to get a bunch of chunks of wax and stuff in your honey. But you don't want it so filtered that you don't get any of the pollen, because the pollen is what helps you with your allergies and things. So you just open the gate here, you let it fill up. As you start filtering it, it's going to start clogging up on you. So you can't just open it up and walk away. You're going to have to control your flow here. Might even have to shut it off from time to time. So then when the bucket gets, up so high, it's going to be heavy. So that's when we move to another location, like so. And you don't see it now, but there'll be a pan down here to catch any drippings we might make. Or I might make a block and set it like this.
That's what we've done in the
That's
past.
what we've done in the past.
And I think that works better.
Yes. So these are our plastic honey jars. And people like the plastic jars because they're squeezable. They're squeezable. And they come with the little lid. And the lid has a self-sealing
Self-seal.
a self-seal. Yeah, when you screw it down on there, it seals it, and you can take the lid back off, and the little seal stays on it. And this is how we do it. We just come over here, and once again, another honey gate, and we just open it up. We fill it up, boom, like so. Cap that bad boy off, and then it's set over to the side. They are wiped down. Now, my wife, Christy, has 120 of these things upstairs that she has rinsed out today with hot water. That's it. We just rinse them out with hot water just to make sure they're clean, and they're drying right now. But so that's the only prep work we do to these. We get them on Amazon. You order them today, they're here tomorrow, something like that. They're 1 pound, 16 ounces. That's good because you sell honey by the pound. That's the best way to sell it. Don't sell it by the pint, because a pint holds more than a pound of honey. And you'll just have to check the honey stocks at your location for your price. So anyway, once to get it all sealed up and ready, Christy makes the labels to go on the honey jars. Now she makes these things. Where do you go to?
Well, I ordered them off of Amazon.
She orders the paper, the paper labels.
And then I have a website. It's called Avery.com. There's a website called Avery.com. Let me get close to the microphone. There's a website called Avery.com, and I go in there and I just create this myself and I save it. And we've been using it from year to year. And so I save it and I'll just print those off. It's typically more cost effective for us just to order the labels, and the Avery website is free. There's no charge there, and then just print them off and then put them on the jars. Yeah,
last year we added our John 3:16 to the bottom of it. you can go in there and make changes after the template.
Right.
I guess it was
It's
like a template. Yeah.
And you can make changes, do different things, add, subtract. But we like this label.
Yeah, and people like it too. I mean, it tells who we are, where we're from, and it's just wildflower honey. I mean, because some people want, sourwood honey and stuff like that. We don't have sourwoods around here. But, so yeah, after we get everything all labeled and everything else, save your boxes. Don't throw your boxes away, because that's a good way to store your honey. We found that out. And then you just, sell it or consume it. Last year we got 116 pounds of honey. So we sold and or distributed 116 pounds of honey. We did give some to some folks that had let us use some of their equipment, things like that. But yeah, it's almost slinging season, slinging some honey. And like I said, this right here was the most expensive piece of equipment we bought per date. Now we have quite a good bit of money tied up in frames and hive boxes and stuff like that, but for the space that this covers, by far most expensive piece of equipment, but it's worth it. I mean, the only other way you can get your honey is you have to scrape the comb and crush it, and when you do that, you lose the comb. And comb is golden when you're raising bees. I mean, if there's any way possible, save your comb. Try your best to keep the wax moths out of it. Try your best to keep the hive beetles out of your hive, because the hive beetles will slime it, and it is ruined. The bees won't touch it, and you can't clean it up. I've got some plastic foundation I've been trying to get cleaned up for a year, but they still have the residue from where the hive beetle slimed it. So, and if you've got someplace like a basement apartment or a room in your basement, best place to set up, because you don't want to set up outside. If you are in proximity of any hives, they will find you, because when this thing starts slinging the honey, for the first 5 minutes, it just has this wonderful aroma, and then you start gagging. I mean, it gets very overpowering, and the bees can smell that like 37 miles away, and you will be inundated by bees. So do not do anything outside your house if you have bees within a quarter mile, I don't know, eighth of a mile, something like that, because they will find you. So this is a good thing to do in your garage. If you have a she shed that's sealed up good, anything, just don't do it in the outside open. So
do you want to tell them about that device that we're going to buy for next year?
Next year, yes.
Help us to cap the cells a little bit better, or decap the cells better.
Yes, I'm in the thought process of buying I forget what it's called. If it's just called a decapper or what. I've got a buddy that has a honey operation over in White, Georgia, and what it is, it's an apparatus it's spring loaded, and you push the frames down inside it, and it's got knife blades, and the knife blades run along the wax, and so you push it down and you pull it back up, and they float with the size of the frame, and it just serrates the cappings, and you don't have to worry about trying to get down and just barely take the cappings off. And if you have some wax that's not drawn out as far, and it's actually lower than the frame of your what am I trying to say? Lower than the frame, you can't get down there to it to cut it off with a knife or with a heated knife. But that decapping machine will. And so if we do good this year, that's going to be our purchase for next year. They're a little costly too, but I mean not outrageous, but a little bit more than what we wanted to spend this year. We try to keep our bee budget under control, because you can blow. Don't shake your head at me. You can blow your bee budget quickly, people. So, but yeah, that's what's happening. And like I said, I can even buy an electric motor and put on this thing. And that's the key to extracting honey, is a constant speed. You think, wind that thing up there about, 4,000 RPMs, and then your arm falls off and it slows down. But if you can keep it like, 300 RPMs, and that's revolutions per minute, and just keep that thing spinning, it will sling all the honey out and it flows down. The only thing I don't like about this extractor is the honey gate's up here. Why is the honey gate not down here? Because there's that floor is like this, so you can't get, but you leave like an inch of honey all the way around it, and you got to turn it up on its side. Another reason why I left it on its pallet, because we can hold it up like that and get more honey out. Don't blow your back out doing that. So anyway, that's how it looks right now. Did we discuss everything? She actually made me cheat notes here. Yeah, we've done everything. So we are anticipating good weather, and then we'll just be in survival mode after that, because here in North Georgia where we're at, the spring summer flow is just basically over. Our only fall flow to speak of is goldenrod, ragweed, and aster or something like that, I think. Aster. And that's just hit or miss. It has a lot to do with the weather. If the summer has been brutally hot and dry and no rain, you'll get blooms, but you won't get nectar. If a tropical system comes through at just the wrong time, when everything, if you say this year we've had a good summer, we've had rain off and on, everything's done real good. Well, this year what we'll have to watch for is when the fall flow opens up the flower petals, that we don't get one of those tropical systems in and it washes all the pollen and nectar out of the flowers. So, there's a fine line right here now that the folks, beekeepers here in Georgia, we got to start walking it, because we got to keep up with our hives the way they are now. Then when we extract honey, when we rob honey, my granddaddy used to rob the bees. The old timers robbed the bees, but now we harvest our honey because we're educated. But my mama keeps asking me, when you gonna rob your bees? I need some honey. But yeah, so from here on out, we're gonna be into the survival mode and making sure that we keep the bees fed. And I try to do the minimal amount of feeding that I have to. I want the bees to be, sufficient, self-sufficient, and they can only do it themselves. So there you go, folks. There you have it. Eubanks Family Homestead. We're hobby homesteading. It's a way of life. We're honey harvesting. Hobby honey harvesting is a one-time a year way of life. But we'll have more video. We'll have videos of Christy printing off the labels, because it's you got to know what you're doing, or they won't look right. That's why she does it, not me. And then we're going to have an extracting party. We're going to have some friends here from school that I went to school with, and people that Diana, she's gotten bees this year. She's been taking care of the swarm we caught up at her house, and I got a few more people kind of interested in bees. So we're going to might even have pizza. I don't know, honey pizza. I don't know. Anyway, so. Like, subscribe, and push that notification bell. Share them, and stay tuned for more from the Honey Apartment. Peace.